Hello everyone, this is Mahesh, chemistry faculty from Vijayawada. Today I would like to explain one of the important concepts for JEE mains and advanced and also for other national level competitive examination, that is solubility and solubility product. Every year we can expect a minimum one question from this topic. That is why it is very important for all these engineering and as well as medical aspirants. So what is solubility? First of all, solubility is the amount of substance that can be dissolved in a given amount of substance at given temperature. So the amount of substance that can be dissolved in a solvent at given temperature is said to be its solubility. Solubility always depends upon temperature. With change in temperature, definitely solubility also will be changed. That is why it is important to mention the temperature of that particular solution. So solubility definitely varies with temperature. We'll see how it will be varies in the coming factor, that is how solubility is dependent on temperature, right? For example, we are preparing a solution by adding sugar to water. So when on adding a sugar to water sample, it will be dissolved and forming the sugar solution. We will be getting a sugar solution. And this process of formation of sugar solution on adding sugar to water is a dissolution. So more is the rate of dissolution, more is the solution you will be getting. And on keep on adding sugar to the water sample, at one particular state, the solubility of sugar in the water sample will reach to saturation. So what is saturation? Is the maximum amount of solute that can be added to solvent is said to be its saturation limit. Beyond this saturation limit, the solution will become to recrystallize, or crystallization will take place. The solution will decompose back into sugar and water. So it is a state of equilibrium. Beyond saturation or at saturation point, there will be an equilibrium established where rate of dissolution and rate of crystallization will be taking place. And at equilibrium, the rate of dissolution will become equal to rate of crystallization. And beyond saturation, rate of crystallization, that means the solution will become split into sugar and water, will be greater than rate of dissolution. So depending upon the solubility, solutes are three types. We will see the three different types of solutes. Depending upon the solubility, solutes are mainly three types. The three different types of solutes are soluble, which has solubility of greater than 0.1 molar are said to be soluble. Less soluble, which has a solubility range in between 0.1 less than 0.1 and in between greater than 0.01, right? Solubility will be less than 0.1 or greater than 0.01. Solubility is greater than 0.01 molar. And sparingly soluble. This is the important concept regarding the solubility product. Sparingly soluble salts or substances are very less soluble in any given solvent, where the solubility is less than 0.01 molar. The solubility of this kind of substances will be less than 0.01 molar. Then certain kind of substances are said to be sparingly soluble. One of the example for sparingly soluble is, sparingly soluble salts are, example, silver chloride, silver bromide, silver iodide are the sparingly soluble salts in water. And as well as the example for sparingly soluble bases, one of the example for sparingly soluble bases, which are aluminum hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide, iron hydroxide are also the example for sparingly soluble bases. And coming to acids, why do they are sparingly soluble? Is they are more stable in their molecular state compared to the dissociated state. That is why they are very less soluble in water. Coming to the acids, it is boric acid. Boric acid is less soluble in cold water but more soluble in hot water due to the formation of hydrogen bonding. Due to the formation of hydrogen bonding, this boric acid is less soluble in cold water but highly soluble in hot water. Now let us consider the example of a sparingly soluble salts, that is silver chloride, and how it is influenced by solubility. Consider silver chloride solid. Silver chloride solid that will be decomposed into silver plus in aqueous and chloride in aqueous. So this is the state of equilibrium where silver chloride is the solid that decomposed into silver plus and chloride ions. If the formed ions are associated to form silver chloride, that is the backward reaction. So here there are two different reactions taking place simultaneously. That is dissolution, that is nothing but dissociation of silver chloride into silver plus and chloride, and association of silver plus and chloride, that is the backward reaction. And equilibrium is the state where rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So at equilibrium, rate of forward reaction, RF indicates rate of forward reaction, will become equal to rate of backward reaction, right? And at this state, the equilibrium constant, K, EQ indicates equilibrium constant, will become equal to the ratio of concentration of products to concentration of reactants. Here the reactants are concentration of silver and chloride upon concentration of silver chloride solid. Actually, the concentration of solids is unity because they are pure themselves, they are not present in the solution. So the concentration of solids will be taken as unity. So the equilibrium constant can be written as the product of ions, the product of concentration of ions. This is at the state of equilibrium. What is meant by equilibrium is where rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. Now what is the important application that we can learn from this equilibrium concept is, at a given temperature, whether given substance, any given salt, acid or base is soluble or not. The solubility of a substance can be quantitatively determined with the help of this ionic product or equilibrium product. So now we will take at any state of reaction, at initial state or even at final state, where rate of forward reaction is not equal to the rate of backward reaction. At any state of reaction, equilibrium is a state of reversible chemical reaction where rate of forward reaction is equal to backward reaction. At any state, it can be initial or in between or even at final state also, the rate of forward reaction is not equal to backward reaction. In that case, Q, which is the reaction coefficient, Q is nothing but reaction coefficient that has the same expression, which is nothing but the ratio between concentration of products to reactants. But there is a difference. Q may not be equal to equilibrium constant if it is not at equilibrium. If the reaction is at equilibrium, reaction coefficient Q and equilibrium constant will be same. Because I am taking at a state of rate of forward reaction is not equal to backward, I am writing this expression, that is Q, which is reaction coefficient, is nothing but ratio between concentration of products to reactants. Same. Silver chloride is the solid whose concentration is unity. So Q is nothing but ionic product. Q is nothing but ionic product, which is equal to the product of silver and chloride ions. So when you know the relationship between equilibrium and reaction coefficient, it would be easy to determine whether a given substance is soluble or not at that particular temperature. At a particular temperature, a given substance is soluble or not can be determined with the help of this relation between ionic product and equilibrium product. Okay, so let us see that one. The relation between Q and equilibrium constant. Right? So in a reversible chemical reaction, more is the concentration of reactant, more is the solubility. With increase in reactant, the solubility will be increasing. With increase in concentration of products, backward reaction will be triggered. More is the concentration of reactant, forward reaction will be increasing. So you will the substance will be more soluble. Okay. So this kind of quantitative relationships in chemistry can be best explained by the thermodynamic relations. The quantitative relationships in chemistry is best explained by the thermodynamic relations. We will be taking the same example, that is silver chloride, which is a solid in state, is getting decomposed into the silver ion in aqueous. It will be solvated even chloride. Okay, for this reaction I am going to determine whether it is soluble at a particular temperature or not. So the thermodynamic relation is given as total change in Gibbs energy will be equal to standard change in Gibbs energy. It is said to be standard change in Gibbs energy plus 2.303 RT log Q. Q you already know, which is nothing but reaction coefficient. You can also write this expression in the terms of natural logarithm, no problem. In the place of 2.303 RT log Q, you can also write it in the form of natural logarithm. So here in this formula, in this expression, delta G indicates total change in Gibbs energy, delta G naught indicates standard for a given amount of substance. It is said to be standard change in Gibbs energy. Now, in this expression, at equilibrium, if you write this formula, at equilibrium where there is no net change in the rate of reactions, so total change in Gibbs energy will become 0, total change in Gibbs energy, and Q will become, at equilibrium, as I told you, reaction coefficient will become equal to equilibrium constant. Consider this one as equation 1, substitute these two values in the equation 1. Then we will be getting delta G, total change in Gibbs energy is 0, and standard Gibbs energy plus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium constant, because reaction coefficient will become equal to equilibrium constant. From this, total change in Gibbs energy, take this whole expression on this side so that it will become negative, minus 2.303 RT log equilibrium constant. Now substitute the value of standard Gibbs energy in the equation 1. Substitute delta G naught, that is standard Gibbs energy, in equation 1. Then we will be getting total change in Gibbs energy is equal to standard Gibbs energy, which is minus 2.303 RT log equilibrium constant plus normal, rest of the expression normal, 2.303 RT log Q. So this is the expression that we have got, where in this formula 2.303 RT is common. If you take 2.303 RT common, it will become log A minus B. Log A minus B can be written as, log A minus log B. Log A minus log B can be written as log A by B. So here Q is in the positive form, equilibrium constant is in the negative form. So the resultant ratio will become reaction coefficient by equilibrium constant. I am writing the next step over here, continuation. Right, continuation of this step, where total change in Gibbs energy will become equal to, I am taking 2.303 RT as common, 2.303 RT log Q minus log equilibrium constant will become log A minus log B, which can be written as log A by B. This is the final expression that we got from the derivation. So from this formula we can easily determine, for a spontaneous reaction, what is meant by spontaneous is a feasible reaction. For a spontaneous reaction, the thermodynamic relation is total change in Gibbs energy should be negative. if delta G is negative, that is total change in Gibbs energy is negative, then it is said to be a spontaneous reaction, the forward reaction in irreversible reaction. So when do this delta G will become negative? When do this delta G will become negative? When equilibrium constant is greater than Q. If equilibrium constant greater than Q, then you will get a negative value. So delta G will become negative. So if equilibrium constant is greater than Q, then what happens? The forward reaction. What is forward reaction in the given reaction? Dissolution. Forward reaction is nothing but dissolution. That is, more amount of silver chloride is soluble. More amount of silver chloride will be soluble. Forward reaction is spontaneous. Dissolution, forward reaction increases. So solubility also increases. Forward reaction increases, that is dissolution. So solubility also increases. Solubility also increases. Solubility also increases. Right? Now, second case. What is the second case? For a non-spontaneous reaction. What is the thermodynamic relation for a non-spontaneous reaction is delta G, that is change in Gibbs energy, will become positive. Where change in Gibbs energy will become positive. Right? So if it is positive, when it will become positive? Delta G from this relation. If reaction coefficient Q is greater than equilibrium, then the resultant value will be positive. Logarithm of positive value will be a positive only. So for a non-spontaneous reaction, delta G is positive, and it is possible if reaction coefficient, in the previous case equilibrium constant is greater than Q, and in this case Q, that is reaction coefficient, is greater than equilibrium constant. Then backward reaction is, that is crystallization. What is backward reaction? Crystallization. The backward reaction is increases. The backward reaction. What is backward reaction? Is association, or you can say crystallization. Crystallization will be increasing. Okay? The backward reaction, that is crystallization, increases. Crystallization increases. So when crystallization or backward reaction is increasing, solubility of the given substance will be decreasing. So solubility decreases. So solubility decreases. Okay. So this is the very important thermodynamic formula that gives information about the solubility of any substance. 2.303 log reaction coefficient to that of equilibrium constant. From this formula, it will be easy to determine the solubility when you know the ionic product and equilibrium constant values. Right? And other important factor, as I told you, solubility depends upon temperature. One of the important factors that influence the solubility is temperature. In the starting only, I told you that solubility is nothing but the amount of substance soluble in given substance at given temperature. So how does this temperature influence? There are many factors that can influence solubility, like complex formation and the pH and the common ion effect. These are the different factors that can influence the solubility. One of the important factors is temperature. So for an exothermic reaction, exothermic in the sense in which heat energy will be released. For an exothermic reaction in which delta H is negative, according to Le-Chatelet principle, if a given reaction is exothermic, the forward reaction, that is the solubility, increases with the decrease in temperature. Okay? Delta H is negative. Solubility increases with decrease in temperature. Solubility increases with decrease in temperature. We can understand this topic from Le-Chatelet principle. This is from Le-Chatelet principle. For an exothermic process, low temperature is favorable. For endothermic process, that is heat energy is absorbed or supplied, high temperature is favorable. Solubility increases with decrease in temperature. Solubility increases with decrease in temperature. Okay. When it comes to an endothermic process, what is meant by endothermic process is where heat energy is absorbed or supplied. Then solubility increases with increase in temperature for an endothermic process. For an endothermic process or reaction where delta H is positive, solubility increases with increase in temperature. Increases with increase in temperature. With increase in temperature. There are other factors also that can influence the solubility. That's all. One of the important aspects that I have discussed. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.